What's going on, my fellow reefers? March here, Fragbox TV. Today's video is actually going to be in the basement of the store. I know some of you guys like these sort of videos, but anyways, I'm going to be building a new sort of extension to our sump, and I'll do a little video series showing how I do that. So it's going to be kind of similar to the tank I set up, the new invert system, if you saw that video series, but I'm going to stick it right over here. I have this nice big open useless space that's just begging for another aquarium. So what I'm going to do is build a stand, an aquarium, drill it, set up an overflow, and then plumb it into this system. And I'll kind of just do a short kind of series as I do that to share with you what's going on, because I think you guys like watching kind of the behind the scenes stuff instead of just always talking about corals and fish. But this space has been empty for quite some time, and I want to be able to hold, grow, import more corals. So we have this system over here. Well, not system, I guess this is the sump that basically runs the store. So these are our drains coming in from the tanks upstairs, and then over on this side we have the returns. So what's happening basically is from all the aquariums, the water's running all the way down here, and then it's running through. It's a pretty simple sump, actually. It's just filter floss in this compartment. And we sometimes throw in carbon. We don't run it all the time. 2 large skimmers, shit ton of live rock over here. Just lots and lots of live rock. And I like putting power heads in with the live rock just to keep detritus moving. Don't let it settle. And then it comes over here, hits our return pumps, and the water is being sent back all over the store. In this tank we hold Acropora under pretty intense T5 with reef bright lighting. If we have some colonies, sometimes we just put stuff down here to kind of color them up. Oh, this is a little bit low. Turn that on, sorry, sidetrack. But basically this whole spot here is empty. So what I'm going to do is build a 6 foot, 6x3, very shallow. It's only going to be 8-inch frag. Well, not, it looks like a frag tank, but it's just going to be more or less a holding tank. And then I'm going to connect it to this sump, so I don't have to set up an additional sump or skimmer or anything like that. It's just going to be additional water volume being added to that, and it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be quick and quite easy. Actually, customers never come down here into the basement, so I'm not too concerned with making the stand look really pretty. It's going to be made out of 2x4 just like this, and that's what I'm going to get working on today. So I generally just use 2x4. These are 2x4s by 12, just regular construction grade pine, and I'm gonna chop them up and get the stand going. I'll show you what that looks like. On this one, I went a little overkill. I was inspired by another tank that I saw, and I wanted it set up quick. And I kind of wish I went with the wood, because the bricks take up quite a bit of space. They're just cinder blocks on a 12-inch LVL. So this thing is really overbuilt. It's a 2x4s would have been more than enough to support the weight of that tank. So this is how most stands or ideas here in the store start. It's a pen, paper, drawing. I got all my measurements kind of laid out for how tall I want the tank, so, and the width. So I just kind of calculate the pieces of wood I need to cut. I grab my trusty miter saw, and I'm gonna get started with cutting, and I'll show you what the finished product looks. I'm gonna try and make it I want it the exact same height as this stand here. Okay, sorry, my microphone died, and then I got fed up and just went ahead and cut all the wood. So actually, they are now done. Just turn on the lights over here, and I can show you exactly what I did. So this is one, and I forgot to mention them. I was actually making 2 of them. So this kind of farm grow out system here is going to get a 5-foot extension, and this one over here, I'm calling them extensions, I can't think of a better word to call them, but this one is going to be connected to sort of what we call the main system, where all the larger frag tanks are upstairs. I more or less make my stands almost always the same way. I was taught to make them like this years ago, and seems to work. So all of the weight is really being held over here on the 2x4 legs, so I double up on them, as you can see, one and then the other, and then the weight is going down to the frame I make on the bottom. They're pretty straightforward. This one was a little bit wobbly, so I just put these extra braces in here just to help kind of make it more sturdy. This one was pretty solid, so I decided it can't really hurt. You know, if you have offcuts of wood, it's not a bad idea. I even throw them this way, like on this one here. I went both ways. You know, overbuilding it can't really hurt. I'm not even going to finish them or bother painting them because literally no one comes down here. This is kind of like my private sort of farming kind of work area that customers really don't ever get to see. People ask us to come down here all the time. It's unfortunately, it's closed to the public. It's just for myself and the staff. It's kind of our quiet work farming space. But this one here is actually only going to be 7 inches tall, the tank. I'm going to get it built and installed tomorrow. This one's going to be only 8 inches tall, so dramatically, yeah, quite shallow, really. For lighting on this one, I'm going to do T5 with reef brights. I already have the sun power fixture, matching one to this one, except a 5-foot. I have that picked out, and I have a pair of reef bright XHOs. These have gotten quite expensive recently. Like these are like $500–600 each, but they add this crazy pop of blue light. And then over here on this tank, so this one is going to be new corals, holding tank, kind of grow out. This is going to be just softies, so primarily mushrooms. I have a soft spot recently for mushrooms, but also some Xenia, GSP, cold coral, leathers, all that fun stuff. Super low flow, really shallow. And the lights, I'm undecided. So maybe you guys want to comment. What do you think we should do for lights? I've tried Radions, I've tried Hydras. I'm thinking maybe the new Neptune Skylight, because we have our first batch arriving this week. Or maybe I'll give Kessel another shot. I wasn't too impressed the first time I tried them. Maybe I judged them too soon. I know a lot of people out there, when I comment on Kessel, kind of jump to defend them. So the people using them really like them. So maybe it's time to give them another shot. I know for sure I'm going to do T5 on this side. I'm undecided on this side. Pumps, I'm also kind of undecided. I'm not sure because they're so shallow. I may give a gyre style pump another shot. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes I don't know until the end of the project. I kind of just shoot first and then aim later. But the stands are done. The tanks are going to be built, set up tomorrow. So I'll do a video covering that. Then I'll get the plumbing going, and then if you saw the video about reef tank wiring, this absolute... Okay, it's really messy down here right now. I'm usually pretty organized. You can see there's just a lot of shit going on because we're in the middle of a build, and I had to move a bunch of stuff. So this is horrible. There's a lot of crap going on. But if you saw the other video I did about reef tank wiring, how not to wire a reef tank, this is how not to do it. This is very bad, unsafe, not recommended. Don't wire a reef tank like March. This is horrible. So what I'm doing now is installing these cabinets and making them waterproof so that in the event of a leak, all the electrical is going to stay safe. It's still a little messy, you know. There's just naturally, with this size of operation, there's tons of bricks. Like we just have lots and lots of power bricks. So what I do is a shelf full of the power bricks and kind of spread them apart so they don't heat each other up. And then I'll do another shelf for kind of controllers, and then hide all the electrical inside a nice sort of neat cabinet so that in the, like, God forbid we ever have a flood, in the event of a flood, water is not going to ever get onto any of the circuitry. This exposed like this is just retarded. This is really just asking for trouble. This is an accident waiting to happen. I hope that no one's aquarium at home looks like this. Try your best to just have neat and orderly and safe wiring, because it's well, we're here working, no one lives here, but you know, if you set up one of these in your tank, maybe you have your family and your kids and your partner and your dogs and animals, and you want to make sure that you do it safely. So I'm going to take the time during this build to make the wiring really nice and neat, kind of like what I'm doing here now. So you can see just everything super clean and organized. And then any connection, I take electrical tape and I just tape them off so that even salt creep, you know, can kind of get into those little connections. So just taking the time to make it all nice and neat. Yeah, this is going to be probably a quick sort of video series as we set it up. If you have anything you want me to cover while I'm doing it, just shoot us messages. I'll look at the comments and just let us know if there's something in particular you want to see in terms of plumbing, wiring, aquarium building, any of that fun stuff. Let us know. I'm going to continue tomorrow. This is going to be this week's project. I love doing this stuff. This is kind of a hobby in itself, the building aspect. And as a store owner, I really like it. And I derive a lot of pleasure from being hands-on in this sort of design and DIY, and starting with just an idea. And this was the sketch this morning, and then, you know, it coming to fruition like that. I just absolutely love this part of the hobby. It's kind of like building and construction sort of stuff tied into a cool aquarium hobby. I think that's about it for today's video. As you know, every day I'm striving to do a video every single day a week. That's 7 reef-related topic videos. That's every single day. 30 days in a month, 365 days a year, Fragbox TV is coming at you like a channel, like just turning on a TV channel and watching it. But it only happens if you guys like the content, and you subscribing is always appreciated. I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching this episode of Fragbox TV.